What is good, ninjas? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and I think it's time for a good old PE discussion. Haven't had one of these in a while, but I definitely want to get back to it. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite franchises of all time, and currently at the number 3 spot, Mass Effect 2 as far as the franchise goes. But today we're going to be talking about Mass Effect Andromeda. It's been a long time coming. I didn't want to bring up this game. You guys saw my live stream. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I have a live stream where I streamed, what was it, like more than an hour of the game, and it was okay at the beginning, although I started playing a little bit more, and the more I played of this game and got into the depths and the mechanics of it, the more that I realized that this game is bad. Mass Effect Andromeda overall is just not a good game at the state that it's in. Now, there's a good game in there somewhere, but it's definitely not there at this point. So let's get into the news first as far as what Bioware has said. There's just been so many videos. PewDiePie did a video on it. That's when you know things are like, PewDiePie does a video. The video game Donkey, he did a video on it. I mean, these are guys with millions of subscribers, and they're doing videos just basically saying this is bad, this is not good, you know. And then you have lots of other people too. It's just not them. There's been plenty of other people. There's been fans that have been complaining to them directly on the forums. There's just been a lot of issues, whether it's the animations, whether it's just the combat, some of the bugs in the open world, some of the game design, not knowing where to go. There are just a multitude of issues compared to previous Mass Effect games where there weren't those issues. Even like with the upgrading and the combat, there's issues there. But like I said, let's get into what Bioware has to say about Mass Effect Andromeda as far as what they're going to do about this game, because it is a mess at this point. So, quote, to our players, it has been a week since we officially launched Mass Effect Andromeda worldwide, and we couldn't be more excited that our fans are finally experiencing everything we've worked so hard to create. We've received quite a bit of feedback, some of it positive and some of it critical. That feedback is an important part of our ongoing support of the game, and we can't wait to share more of our immediate plans with you on Tuesday, April 4th. In the meantime, keep your feedback coming. Our team is listening, working around the clock to gather information and plan out solutions to improve and build on Mass Effect Andromeda. Thanks for your continued support and for joining us on this journey. So I just want to talk about this first and foremost and just kind of get it out of the way, because I already know what some of you guys are thinking. Oh, well, it's just this Nintendo guy just talking about or bashing Microsoft or Sony platform or whatever. That's not Nintendo. That's not the case. I've said this a million times. I'll go ahead and say it again. That before the Nintendo, like Wii U, before Switch, before all of that, before 3DS, I really was into the 7th generation when it came to the Xbox and the PS3, but mainly Xbox. I have well over, I think, 150 Xbox games. If you count digital, might even be more than that. So I was actually a really big Xbox fan. Xbox 360, that is way more than Wii games that I had. I think I had around maybe 30 to 40 Wii games, and I have way more Xbox games, like triple the amount or more. So I was really into Xbox, and some of my favorites, just to let you guys know, if you total up all the hours that I've put into these games right here, it would probably be like in like the 1,000 range. We're talking Tales of Vesperia, Skyrim. These are just some of my favorite Xbox 360 games. Obviously, some of these are multi-platform as well, but many of these ran better on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Like, for example, Skyrim ran a lot better on the Xbox 360 at the beginning. Obviously, Bayonetta, the original Bayonetta, such a good game. Vanquish, this game is also another one by Platinum Games. Very, very good game. So good. I wish they should make another one. And also Fallout 3 and all the DLC as well. I have that, so I got all the achievements in most of these games. So with that being said, Mass Effect, like I said, Mass Effect 2 is my 3rd favorite game of all time. As far as the trilogy goes, I have Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on Xbox 360 and on PS3 and on PC, and I've beaten most of them across all the platforms, gotten all the achievements and stuff like that. So I want to talk about this because this was definitely Mass Effect Andromeda. I was really looking forward to this. But I started seeing problems, especially with like the lack of information. If you remember Mass Effect 2, as far as what they did for this game and its advertising and leading up until the release and everything, they were very confident. They were showing off certain parts of the game. When you saw it, they were very confident in the storytelling and everything. You can just tell what EA was doing. This was going to be an amazing experience, and it is. Like, seriously, to this day, I love and cherish this game so much. I love and cherish every single bit of it. This, to me, really epitomized, and this was an exclusive when it first launched on the Xbox 360. This really epitomized why I love the Xbox 360. Outside of the system blowing up, I know it had the issues with that as far as the rendering of that. I understand that, but just outside of that, this is what really signified that. And also, Mass Effect 1 was also an exclusive for a period of time as well, and I really love Mass Effect 1. So I had high hopes. I had high hopes for Mass Effect Andromeda, but like I said, I started seeing the writing on the wall, especially with that derpy main character, like Sarah Ryder. Like, you started seeing some of the stuff and you're like, man, what's up with their face at times? I mean, and also some of the other things that they put, as far as the other characters that they put in the game, a lot of them just have weird voices, weird facial animations, and I know people have harped on that so many times, but for me, it's part of the Mass Effect experience. That's part of, you know, what you go to experience. You go to experience the story, how people react to things and all that. And these Mass Effect games, they weren't amazing. It wasn't like they had the best facial animation ever, but man, they were a lot better than Mass Effect Andromeda. And that's sad because these games came out literally, we're going on decades ago at this point. I mean, Mass Effect 1 came out in 2007, so we're talking about a decade ago. Mass Effect 2 came out in 2010, so we're talking about 7 years ago. Mass Effect 3 came out in 2012, so we were talking about 5 years ago. So these games are quite a bit of years old, and they have better animations, and they have better storytelling, and they have better gameplay overall. Just overall, the gameplay is more solid in these games than the other ones. And we're talking about like the upgrading system, the mechanics, because if you remember, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, they have similar weapons and kind of somewhat similar feel, but Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2 definitely changed things dramatically. The Mass Effect 3 kind of refined Mass Effect 2 and added some of the stuff from Mass Effect 1, not everything, but it was easy, it was simple to follow, there was a nice path to where you could upgrade, there was a few different ways that you can go when it comes to guns and things like that. But Mass Effect Andromeda takes a bunch of just throws everything at you with the upgrading and trying to find parts to upgrade one thing. It's just a confusing mess, and I really don't understand what they were trying to go for here when it comes to the combat in this game. Obviously there's some bugs here and there, but that's not even the biggest issue really. It's a lot of just the game itself. The game itself just isn't as good as its predecessors, which is why. What did they spend the $40 million that this game costs? Apparently, that's what, you know, the internet says. Don't know 100%. There might be more with that. But what were they spending this on? Was it all on marketing? Was it on the actual game? I mean, what was it on? Was it just the graphics? Because I'm just having serious issues thinking where all this money went to. It wasn't like this game was so heavily advertised on like the Super Bowl or anything like that. So I really don't understand exactly what went on and where it went wrong with this game. To me, it kind of just shows that BioWare is just not the same BioWare. They're just really not. Obviously, we had Dragon Age, which was pretty good. I mean, I played it. I didn't think it was as good as everyone else thought it was, but I can understand that at least the animations were much better, and I can understand that it's a solid, put together game if you're into that style. Completely understand that. But Mass Effect, something went horribly wrong with this game compared to Dragon Age, and from what I understand, the teams actually flipped as far as who developed who. So the BioWare team that usually does the Mass Effect games, they did Dragon Age, and the Dragon Age team that usually does Dragon Age, they did Mass Effect. At least that's what I'm understanding. I might be wrong on that one, but either way, there's something drastically wrong within EA for them to mess up this bad on such an established and historic franchise when it comes to the 7th gen. At this point, if you look at what Microsoft, Sony, as far as the 7th gen, and you compare it to what they're doing at this point, you know, I mean, 4 years in, we had two great Mass Effect games, Mass Effect 2 being one of the greatest games of all time, according to Metacritic. I think it has like a 95 or 96. And at this point, what do we get? We get this Mass Effect. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss of words why this game did not turn out the way that it should have turned out, which should have been an amazing Mass Effect title. They had quite a bit of time. They had, what, 2013 they started working on this after Mass Effect 3. I know there were some issues with Mass Effect 3 as well. Maybe that could have been a precursor, but I would think that would give them enough time. I remember when I first saw the first trailer, I was so hyped for this, but like I said, I started seeing issues when they just weren't talking about the game. They weren't talking about the game, they weren't showing the game, then all of a sudden they want to tell us about the game out of nowhere. I can understand Bethesda does that too, but Bethesda has a certain formula. They're a different company, okay? And with this game, Mass Effect Andromeda, there's definitely issues. There was issues just leading up to it. So I'm wondering what these plans are going to be. Obviously at the top of their list, probably fixing the facial animations is going to be one of the big things, especially with Sarah Ryder. She's probably the derpiest one out of all of them. So I think fixing her would be the first issue. The next thing that you have to do is you have to fix the actual combat and the game itself, as far as the upgrades and the indicators as far as where you go, because sometimes it's really confusing. So fixing the gun system and all the different types of pieces and things that you need in order to get some upgrades for certain guns that are all laid out there for you, they need to fix that and streamline that a little bit more, make it a little bit more user friendly as far as the UI goes. Not a major concern, but I definitely think that will help. And once again, fixing exactly where you go for subquests and all that. Sometimes it's really confusing, and this is just not necessarily anything they can do, but it seems like it's just like an open world or a big hub world just to be a big hub world. I'm not sure if there's anything that that they've done in there to make it any better compared to Mass Effect 2, for example, or Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 2 in particular. But hey, like I said, it's up to them what they want to do. It's their game, obviously. I know there's some people out there that are really enjoying Mass Effect Andromeda, but I know there's a lot of people that are really angry and upset about this game based on what's went down. So let me know what you guys think. Have you played Mass Effect Andromeda? Are you guys big Mass Effect fans? Were you looking forward to this but let down? I have had a big letdown with this game so far, and I am definitely waiting. I've stopped playing it. I'm going to delete my save file, and I'm going to wait for them to fix this game before I start playing it again. Fix it, make sure that it's up to par with what you would expect with the Mass Effect game from what they've done in the past. That's all I'm asking for. Give me a Mass Effect 3 at the bare minimum. Mass Effect 2 would be amazing, although Mass Effect 2's, it's hard to replicate that because of the time that that game was released and what they did with it. It would be very hard to replicate that type, and the story was just so intriguing at that point, and they're going a very different direction with this story and what they're doing with Andromeda, so that'd be tough. But at least give me Mass Effect 3 when it comes to combat and upgrades, and when it comes to being able to go to the different side quests, just being able to follow things easily. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let you know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you ninjas for the next video. Peace.